Hola, everybody. Bienvenidos a todos. Good evening. Buenas tardes, buenas noches. Wherever you're at, bienvenidos a En Casa con la Plaza. Today, brought you directly from La Plaza de Cultura y Artes here in downtown LA. I've moved into this beautiful office slash studio to bring to you a special event for tonight. One of our live performances that I know you enjoy so much, hosted tonight by Beto Arcos. So, por favor, without further ado, I introduce you to Beto Arcos. Take it away, Beto.
¿Qué tal? Muy buenas noches. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe. It's always a pleasure to be with you, sharing the music
Take it away,
of
Beto.
Latin America. And tonight we have a very special program. Tenemos un programa muy especial dedicado hoy a lo que yo he llamado como el son de la nueva generación. And when I talk about son, I talk about different styles of music that come from Mexico, that spring from Mexico, Latin regions in Mexico, sort of an umbrella name which defines traditional music in Mexico is called son. And there is son huasteco, there's son jarocho, there's son calentano, son ismeño, and many other different sones. En la música tradicional mexicana, algo que define la sonoridad es una palabra que es son. Tenemos en México el son huasteco, el son jarocho, el son calentano, el son ismeño y otros más sones por todo el país. Esta noche vamos a enfocarnos en un son en particular, que es el son de Veracruz, pero de otra manera, reinterpretado, reinterpreted in a way by three young musicians that have been pushing, in a sense, this music, pushing the envelope for the last few years with their instruments and with a particular purpose and with a particular emphasis on reinventing, reimagining this music for the next generation. So I want to welcome to you, to your home, whatever you are watching, three musicians. One of them originally was born in Colima. He grew up in Guadalajara. He attended music school in Guadalajara at the Universidad de Guadalajara. He went on to win a scholarship to study at Berklee School of Music in Boston, where he lived and worked and learned how to play jazz. And then he returned and he wanted to create his own project. I'm talking about Vico Diaz, who's joining us now from Mexico City. Vico, bienvenido al programa. Y bueno, un músico que nació en Colima, creció en Guadalajara, asistió a la Universidad de Guadalajara, estudió en la Escuela de Música y después ganó una beca para estudiar en Berklee School of Music en Boston. Regresó y a su regreso quiso crear música original. Y vamos a hablar de esa música original que ha creado en los últimos años. Así que, Vico, bienvenido al programa. Bien.
Hello, Beto.
Ahora les presento a el señor Ik Balam, que es un músico originalmente de una población que está muy cercana, es prácticamente parte de la ciudad de Jalapa, que es de donde soy yo. Resulta ser el pueblo de Tlanehuayocan, de San Andrés Tlanehuayocan, que está juntito a la ciudad de Jalapa. Él nació ahí y asistió a la Universidad Veracruzana, donde yo, por cierto, también cursé un par de años, en mis años mozos. Cursó en la Facultad de Música, bueno, y es egresado de los estudios de jazz con mención honorífica en el 2018 y es el primer músico, estudiante, que se gradúa en un plan de estudios con un instrumento tradicional veracruzano. Esto es bien importante. He is the first musician to graduate from the University of Veracruz in the School of Music, graduating with his traditional instrument from Veracruz. This is unheard of. This is the first time that this ever happened. Of course, now more are trying to do the same, but he was definitely the first one to do that. Ik Balam Moiron Castillo. As I said, he is from Tlanehuayocan, just outside a small town near Jalapa, Veracruz, where I happen to be. And he attended University of Veracruz, where I spent a couple of years of my own studies. And last year he released an album called Erosión de la Memoria, where he showcased the jazz trio, but with jarocho instruments, playing three musicians, the three musicians that are with us tonight, jarana, leona, and requinto jarocho eléctrico. And we're going to hear from that instrument later on. And all original pieces that he composed. So vamos a hablar con Ik Balam sobre este instrumento y sobre el disco que salió el año pasado que se llama Erosión de la Memoria, donde presenta por primera vez al trío de jazz, pero con instrumentos de son jarocho, la jarana, la leona y el requinto jarocho eléctrico. Y finalmente, desde la Ciudad de México, bueno, él nació en la Ciudad de México, aunque no podemos decir ya que es de la Ciudad de México porque emigró con su familia muy pequeño a la ciudad de Jalapa y pues un par de meses después empezó a crecer también en un municipio cercano a Jalapa, en el municipio de Coatepec, que es conocido mundialmente, entre otras cosas, por el café. Y no podemos decir pues, Pablo Emiliano estuvo viviendo, creciendo allá y recientemente, bueno, estudió también en la en la Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México, licenciatura en Estudios Latinoamericanos. He studied Latin American Studies at the UNAM, and he started to get into music as a sort of hobby, but I'm going to ask him later as well about how that all began. Bueno, eso es un poco como a manera de introducción, a little bit of an introduction. But now I want to turn to Vico Díaz. Voy a abordar un poco el tema de la música, del son, que ellos han reinventado a su manera con Vico Díaz, un músico a quien conozco ya hace varios años y cuya trayectoria he seguido. I follow the work of Vico Díaz for the last couple of years. Vico, cuéntanos primero, tú tocabas el contrabajo. You used to play upright bass. Y en algún momento decidiste que el instrumento que tú querías estudiar y aprender y tocar no era el contrabajo, ya lo sabías tocar, pero querías tocar algo que fuera mexicano. You wanted to play something that was Mexican. And that's when you decided to pick up the leona and learn and do something to this instrument. Platícanos un poco brevemente sobre esta parte de tu interés en buscar una sonoridad mexicana.
Yeah, hello, Beto. It's an honor to be with you and share a little bit of my music. And well, I'm start playing upright, like you said, in a jazz environment. So I'm start getting deeper in another traditional language, another musical language, which is the States, the United States music, traditional music, which is jazz. So after I've done my jazz studies, I'm start figuring out about the connection that I'm having with jazz. So at a certain point, I found myself lost in that ocean of jazz language, and I understood that there is a different language and it's a different tradition. So a seed start grow up inside of me, and then the past goes on. I'm record one of the best jazz albums of my generation with Tom Kessler, and we did a lot of work, a lot of projects with contemporary jazz, but not focusing in a Mexican language. So at the same time, when I'm playing with Tom full contemporary jazz, I'm start playing with Ampersand. So they play music alternative rock music with this flavor of the traditional music, of the traditional Mexican music and the Mexican instruments. So I started playing upright and their band. And suddenly, after a concert, we played in Morelos, in Cuernavaca, and they had an after party, and an after party was a fandango happening. So fandango was my first fandango, which is the folklorist Veracruzian party, popular party. So it was my first introduction to the fandango, and I heard the Leona obviously because I'm a bass lover. I'm always curious about the bass, So the lower range of the Leona catch me, and I fell in love. And 2 months later, I met a great luthier, Pavel Toledano, and I get my Leona. So that was how I get my Leona in my hands. I can play it, because it's a new instrument for me, but it wasn't thinking about playing later because I wasn't ready. I need to learn the Mexican tradition. So I'm start playing son. I'm start learning as I did with the jazz, with the records, the Don Isidro Nieves, that album, the Guitarra de Son, impact me so much in my life, and I'm learn playing with Don Isidro for about 3 or 4 years, playing Leona over Don Isidro.
So in other words, the Leona, which is right behind you, it's for those of you who may not know, this is a 4-string instrument. It's essentially, it's an instrument that is traditional to Veracruz. It was sort of rediscovered sometime, I think, in the late 70s. A couple of years ago when I was in Veracruz, Gilberto Gutierrez told me that they found the instrument sort of abandoned. It hadn't been played in a long time. And he said he went to visit someone and they found a Leona and they're sort of abandoned, and they picked it up and they said, well, this was the bass. And pretty soon, they started bringing it out, Gilberto and others, and started playing the instrument, and then they started making Leona. So this is the 4-string instrument, the bass instrument of the music of Veracruz, the son jarocho, that, before then, they weren't using Leona. There was no bass, so to speak. I mean, if the groups had a harp, of course, the harp would play the bass in there, but typically it was without a bass instrument. Okay, so let's stop right there with you. We'll continue the next part. Let's talk now to Ikbalam Moirón, músico, egresado ya lo dije, de la Universidad Veracruzana, con su instrumento tradicional, el requinto jarocho. Tell us about this instrument. En principio, platícanos cómo fue que entraste a este mundo del son jarocho, desde cuántos años empezaste a tocar. Brevemente todo, lo más breve que se pueda. Cuéntanos esa historia y después cómo decidiste entrar a estudiar el instrumento y graduarte finalmente del instrumento del requinto jarocho. Tell us that transition from learning the instrument, playing the instrument in fandangos, and then eventually graduating from the university with that instrument. Ikbalam.
Sí, primero que nada, muchas gracias, Beto, por haber hecho posible esta charla, concierto y la propuesta que te hice hace unos meses. Qué bueno que dio fruto a través también del apoyo de Abelardo. Eso quería decirlo antes de comenzar para que estemos aquí los 5 compartiendo con ustedes. Desde pequeño, desde la panza de mi mamá, he escuchado son jarocho y otro tipo de músicas.
So, you've been listening to music from the very beginning, from the belly of your mother, you've been listening to music.
Después, de pequeño, le ponía atención a la música que mis papás ponían en el estéreo.
And I was always interested in the music that my parents played in the stereo.
Recuerdo frases de Charlie Parker, con los conciertos de Brandenburgo, Mono Blanco, Los Utrera, en cuanto a son
He
jarocho.
says he remembers everything from phrases by the saxophonist Charlie Parker to the Brandenburg concertos to the music of Mono Blanco and Los Utrera, the various musicians that he grew up listening to as a kid.
Después, viviendo en el estado de Veracruz, siempre había fandangos o músicos en las fiestas, entonces pude ver desde pequeño los instrumentos.
So then, of course, he started attending fandangos in Veracruz, and he would see all these instruments and the festivities and the celebration of music and dance, which is the fandango, the community.
Y luego en la secundaria, en middle school, ahí atendía un taller que dieron Laura Rebolloso, Tacho Utrera, Sael y Saúl Bernal. Era un taller de son jarocho y ahí aprendí jarana.
Then during middle school, he started attending this workshop that was given by these musicians that he just mentioned. And that's where he learned how to play the jarana, the 8-string strumming instrument.
Entonces la jarana fue mi puente para empezar a tocar son jarocho, pero me di cuenta que la sonoridad que más me gustaba era la del requinto.
So in a sense, he says the jarana was sort of the bridge which led him to the requinto, but he somehow was pulled by the requinto more than with the jarana, and so he decided to start to play this instrument.
Entonces, el primer año aprendí jarana y he seguido tocando jarana desde entonces, desde los 13 años, 12, 13 años, pero a los 14 ya empecé a estudiar requinto jarocho.
So he played jarana all the way up until he was 14. At that point, he started playing requinto jarocho.
Y ahí me di cuenta, ya aprendiendo el instrumento, de la universalidad de los instrumentos del son jarocho y del requinto en particular, ¿no? O sea que se puede tocar todo en el requinto o en los instrumentos de son jarocho.
That was when, soon enough, he realized that these instruments were universal and that he could play whatever he wanted. They could play whatever they wanted with those instruments, not just son jarocho, but everything else.
Entonces, todas las bases del son jarocho me sirvieron para aplicar el examen de ingreso a la escuela de jazz.
So everything he learned from son jarocho is what helped him to apply to the jazz school. So he would be able to take the exam and then eventually get accepted into the School of Jazz at the University of Veracruz.
Ahí pasé casi 8 años estudiando jazz y aprendí muchas cosas de muchos rubros.
And he spent about 8 years at that school and he learned many different things from different styles of music.
Pero algo que quiero remarcar es de que yo ya tenía esa noción de universalidad de los instrumentos.
But I want to emphasize that I already had the sense that these instruments were universal.
Pero mis colegas y maestros no.
Interestingly, my colleagues, my students, my colleagues, and my teachers didn't think so.
Entonces, yo tenía 16 años cuando les decía que era importante las raíces de México para hacer música.
So when I was 16 years old, I would tell them that it was important to have the roots of Mexican music as a foundation for something else.
But they didn't believe me, until Miguel Zenon and Giovanni Hidalgo and Marta Gomez and David Sanchez told them to look for your roots in order to make better music.
Okay.
No? So
That's interesting. Nadie es profeta en su tierra, right? That's the famous saying. Nobody's a prophet in your own land. It's a biblical saying that's very much alive today. In fact, these musicians that he just mentioned, Miguel Zenon, Marta Gomez, ¿quién más?
Giovanni Hidalgo, David
Giovanni
Sanchez.
Hidalgo. These are world-class musicians that were invited to perform in Jalapa at various times, and all of them told the professors and the students that it was important to maintain the roots of your own music. And that's when they listened. But it had to be someone from the outside. Muy bien.
Yeah, and so after that, I learned the compositional tools from jazz. So I started to write and arrange sones and then write my own music. And I started my first trio with Cristian Cano on jarana and Mariano Salem on bass back in 2014. And since then, it evolved. It went through many stages. There have been a lot of sidemen since then, and the last configuration is with Vico Diaz and Pablo Emiliano, and I was able to materialize the things that I learned and all the knowledge and all the unions of son jarocho with jazz, and that was the result of Erosión de la Memoria. And that album closes that stage of developing a trio sound, because now I'm focusing on writing for a quintet, which is the format that will come in my next album.
Next album. Great.
And,
okay,
yeah.
let's leave it right there, and let's now move to Pablo Emiliano. Pablo Emiliano, you come from a completely different angle. Tú vienes desde otro ángulo totalmente diferente. Lo tuyo no era la música hasta que te enamoraste de la jarana, ¿no? It was not your thing. You did your education at the UNAM, hiciste tu carrera allá y la música vino después. Cuéntanos brevemente cómo fue esa transición, qué fue lo que detonó la explosión. What was the thing that made you, okay, I want to do this? ¿Qué fue?
¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo me escuchan? ¿Bien?
Bien.
Sí, ¿qué tal? Bueno, primero que nada, saludos aquí a los compañeros, al personal, distinguido personal. Beto, qué gusto vernos de nuevo y poder platicar. Bueno, yo creo que lo que dices en realidad es que la música siempre fue lo que tenía que ser, ¿no? Más bien no lo había alcanzado a ver y me tardé tal vez, pero pues no hay, nunca es demasiado tarde.
Claro.
Bueno, sí, más bien como que la música desde pequeño ha estado presente. Mi mamá mi papá también son melómanos y siempre, digamos, es un ambiente musical, pero no estuvo nunca en mi imaginación y como la idea de estudiar música, como que yo estaba en otra cosa. Estudié guitarra un poco. Guitarra clásica, pero llegó un momento en el que así como que la técnica y todo eso me hizo salir huyendo, ¿no?
So Pablo says that music was always present. It just, for some reason or another, it just arrived at the right time when it should have. As the saying goes, it's never too late. But he says that he was always into music. He always loved listening to music, the music that he grew up around his family with his parents. He took some classes, guitar classes, but it sort of didn't go anywhere. It just kind of stay there. Y después, ¿qué
Y
fue?
después me enamoré del son jarocho, del fandango, ¿no?
¿A qué edad?
También
Then he fell in love with son jarocho, with fandango. ¿A qué edad?
yo creo que como 17 años.
So he was 17 years old when he started playing. Uh-huh.
Ajá. Y bueno, fue un enamoramiento con todo, como el amor, ¿no? O sea, te enamoras y te vas de cabeza.
He said he fell in love all the way, didn't hold anything back. And, y me acuerdo que dijiste una vez que iban cada año al encuentro de jaraneros a Tlacotalpan. I remember you telling me that you used to go to the encuentro de jaraneros in Tlacotalpan, which is for those of you who may not know, this is a place in Veracruz where they have an annual gathering of musicians every the last day of January, January 31st, February 1st and 2nd, center around the festivity called Dia de la Candelaria, which is usually it's a patron virgin, actually, because it's the Virgin Mary of the town. And it's a big party, big celebration. And on top of that celebration, there is the Encuentro de Jaraneros that takes place every year there. And he would attend with friends. Ibas a ir cada año al encuentro, ¿no?
Sí, claro. La primera vez pues fue así con amigos, vamos a Tlacotalpan y yo como que, pero ni sabía ni qué era y ahí fui porque ahí era el coto, ¿no?
He first didn't know what it was all about. They told him we're going to go there and of course he figured out that's where it all was happening in Tlacotalpan.
Y bueno, me gustaba la música y todo, pero como que no era mi onda. Y en un momento hubo como un clic de justo, pues como de ver a muchas agrupaciones nuevas, jóvenes, ¿no? Gente de mi edad, un poco más grandes, pero que estaban haciendo cosas que yo identifiqué como que no era lo mismo que había escuchado, ¿no?
So he started realizing and seeing there were all of these groups that were playing all kinds of different styles and approaches to the music, and it wasn't the music that he had listened to before, but he was definitely impressed in a positive way to see all of this. It made an impact on him.
Y un poco lo que contaba de la guitarra, como que a diferencia de tener que aprender como la técnica, esta música me dejaba expresar, ¿no? Lo que uno tiene y lo que uno siente y eso fue el gancho, yo creo.
To the guitar, I felt like in this particular type of music, I was able to express whatever I wanted in whichever way I wanted, and that was, I think, one of the reasons why he liked it so much.
Y bueno, luego pensé que mi camino era por otro lado, hice estudios, como dices, en la UNAM, me mudé al DF y en un momento dije, estoy al revés, mi hobby es lo que me quiero dedicar y lo que me quiero dedicar es mi hobby y como que hice el paso de la muerte.
So he went to the university to Mexico City. He did his studies over there, but then he realized that he wanted to be a musician. He needed to come back, and he made the transition from studying Latin American studies to becoming a musician, and that's what he's been doing.
Sí. Entonces, si estaba enamorado del son jarocho, ahora imagínate que es lo que me permitió, la puerta de entrada de vuelta a la música, ¿no? Que es lo que amo más en esta vida.
So son jarocho really was the door for him to sort of open into this world of music, which is what he loves the most, music. Bien, pues ahora vamos a ver cómo se escuchan esos instrumentos. Vico, vamos a empezar otra vez contigo esta vuelta y queremos que antes de que la conectes, que nos digas brevemente qué le hiciste al instrumento para que sonara como suena y después que nos toques un sonecito breve en La Leona. Tell us what you did to this instrument to adapt it to your needs, to the requirements, to what you wanted it to sound like as a bass musician. And then we want you to play something so that people can see what this instrument sounds like. Mhm.
Yeah. The sound of Leona is very particular and match very well with the son jarocho, but it doesn't work in another styles, not like in his natural way, no, in his natural luthier, because we don't have a very strong luthier traditions, no, as a Europeans. They have a strong tradition of hundreds of years of building instruments. So, and in the Mexican tradition, we don't have that. So, in order to put that this Leona, no the Leona as a concept of bass, just my Leona, I need to make some changes in order to adapt it to my playing, because I'm a jazz bassist. No, 15, 16 years playing upright is a long time. So I have a lot of bass sounds in my knowledge. So I have the sound of Ray Brown. I have the sound of Ron Carter. I have the sound of Dave Holland, Charlie Hayden, Larry Granadier, Joe Martin. All these basses, then I love it. I just fell in love about the sound of bass, not the instrument itself. It's about the low range and about the bass, the melodies of the bass can do. So the Leona can do the same melodies and lines than the bass in a jazz tradition in the States. So what I did is what did the first opera player in jazz, because jazz always been with tuba, has been playing with tuba in a tradition, in an origin. So then a first musician, a crazy musician, figured out that no, maybe with upright could sound no better, but could sound good enough to sound like the tuba. So I did with my music and with the Mexican music. I took the Leona from the just jarocho and Veracruz tradition, and I put them as an upright, as a piano.
Mhm.
No, like Jorge Glenn said 3 days ago with you in an interview. You know, he said just like that, and not words more and words less. But he said the same, no? Like the piano doesn't play a specific style of music. So what I'm trying to do is the Leona putting into the universal language, as like Ike said, no? So I play classical music with my Leona. I've been playing jazz, rock, heavy metal, funk, son, whatever's. It's just a bass, and a beautiful, great bass with a lot of strong sound, and the Leona can provide just by itself in a fandango. The sound of bass surrounded by 30 jaranas and 20 requintos. Just one Leona can provide that sound. No, and the opera bass can do, because the opera always in the orchestra needs help. The opera needs 4 or 5 of them in order to supply the bass sound in the orchestra.
All right, we're gonna see. He's switching now microphones so we can hear the Leona in all its beauty and clarity, and we're gonna have him play something for us on this amazing instrument that you're about to see him play. It's something else. What you're gonna hear. This is This is an instrument, by the way. If you don't know, it's been carved from one solid piece of wood, unlike the guitar, which is, it's not, it's a box. You know, they turn it into what it is, but this is a one piece of wood and then the cover, the sort of face of the instrument. And this is, what you're gonna hear is this amazing sound that comes from this 4-string instrument. And here it is. Vico, let's hear it. Vico Diaz playing the 4-string Leona, the bass instrument of son jarocho, transformed into an instrument that can play just about everything. Vico, we have to move on to Ik. Yo creo que es mejor que hablemos en español para hacerlo más rápido. Y yo voy traduciendo ahí poco a poco. A ver, Iqbalam, entonces tú empezaste a tocar el requinto jarocho tradicional. You started playing the jarocho instrument, the traditional requinto instrument. Muéstranos cómo suena ese instrumento. Muy bien. Pues el instrumento en sí tiene tanto que ofrecer, digamos, melódicamente, armónicamente, tiene mucho que dar. Pero tú quisiste llevarlo un poquito más allá, a otros horizontes. ¿Cómo fue? the instrument by itself has a lot of richness harmonically and melodically, but you wanted to take this instrument somewhere else. Tell us about that. ¿Cómo fue?
Por ejemplo, el requinto tradicional toca los acordes así.
Traditional requinto plays them like this. Mhm.
Y tuve que aprender a tocarlos como un piano o guitarra, ¿no? Al mismo tiempo. O sea,
So you had
así.
to learn how to play those chords on guitar and piano. Ajá,
Like, o sea, ¿cómo, no? O sea,
ajá.
lo hice en mi requinto, pero pensando como guitarrista o pianista.
So he did it on his requinto, but thinking like a pianist or a guitarist. Ajá.
Ajá, entonces, por ejemplo, las cosas tipo McCoy Tyner, así de jazz modal o Bill Evans, suenan así.
So the modal jazz, for example, of a McCoy Tyner or a Bill Evans sound like this on this instrument. Uh-huh.
O bebop, como lo que hace Barry Harris o Bob Powell, los pianistas.
And for example, the musicians such as Bud Powell or Barry Harris, the ones that play bebop, those are sort of the chords that they're using, and this is how it would be played in the requinto.
Y por ejemplo, los saxofonistas como Coltrane, que tocan los arpegios así, tuve que adaptar la plumilla bien para poder hacer eso, o sea, ¿no?
And the saxophonists such as John Coltrane that play like this, he had to sort of figure out how to play the pick in a way to make this work. Complicated, right? Es
Sí.
complicado esto. Entonces,
Sí.
¿qué pasó? Dijiste, no, tengo que buscarle por otro lado. I have to find something else.
Pues es que inicialmente yo quería estudiar jazz por lo de la improvisación. Yo quería improvisar más y mejor.
So initially, his interest was he wanted to improvise. He wanted to be able to improvise more and better.
Entonces, ya que aprendí, y bueno, y sigo aprendiendo esa parte, decidí escribir mi propia música.
So he started, once he learned all of that, he started writing his own music. Uh-huh.
Entonces, por ejemplo, como en los acordes que toqué, les hice modificaciones, como para la pieza de colibrí. En lugar de tocar, toqué, ¿no? Y entonces también aproveché el ritmo, la armonía, las formas, o sea, las estructuras en las que están contenidas la armonía y la melodía. Y entonces llegué a estas uniones de que parezca que es un son, pero diferente, o que parezca que es un jazz diferente. Dijera Pancho Amat, haciendo un son en otro jazz.
As Pancho Amat would say, to do another son with other jazz. ¿Cómo fue?
Haciendo son en otro jazz.
Doing son in other jazz. So he essentially had to adapt what he learned in jazz to the instrument so that it would make sense, it would work. Ajá. Y después.
Y luego después fue la amplificación. Ya tuve que ponerle una pastilla, pero aún así yo tenía dificultades.
And then he decided to amplify the instrument, so he added the pickup to the instrument, but he still found difficulty with that.
Porque a volúmenes altos tenía feedback y pues ya no estaba muy bien, ¿no? O sea, sí estaba fuerte, pero era muy peligroso auditivamente.
So he said when the volume increased, he had problems, feedback problems, and it was just kind of dangerous. It just was not it did not feel right. So,
Entonces me surgió la idea, a partir de esa filosofía en el jazz de encontrar tu propio sonido,
so
em,
then I go with the philosophy in jazz that you have to find your own sound.
decidí hacer un requinto que fuera eléctrico. O sea, es hecho como requinto, pero amplificado eléctricamente.
So decided to create an instrument that was a requinto, but it was electrified. And here's what came of that.
Y aquí está el resultado. Y entonces
Ahora,
los
escuchemos
problemas de...
Uh-huh. So the problems were solved.
Ujú. ¿No? Entonces ya pude, aparte justamente a mis colegas y maestros, este sonido ya estaba más cerca a lo que ellos tenían, como menciona Vico, ya se oía más como Pat Metheny o Rosenwinkel o Jim
On top
Hall.
of that, to my teachers, they liked the sound because it was closer to the sound that they were familiar with, like Kurt Rosenwinkel, like whoever, Bill Frisell or whoever, other guitarists. Uh-huh.
Pero eso solo fue el último año de la carrera, o sea, casi el último semestre.
So that was
que
really
pudieron disfrutar esto.
During the last semester, the last year of my career, of the degree, when this happened. So this is the result. Muy bien. Entonces, vamos a escuchar ahora un tema breve en tu requinto. Let's listen to a small piece on the requinto. Get an idea of what this possibilities has.
Sí, por ejemplo, el sustain es mejor. El sustain is better. Like,
Precioso,
por
maravilloso.
ejemplo.
Gracias. Y bueno, regresamos contigo porque ya el tiempo corre. Ahora vamos con Pablo Emiliano. Pablo, la jarana, bueno, no hace falta que lo diga yo, pero aquí tengo una tercera que me hizo el maestro César Castro hace unos años. Y pues la verdad que le hago al loco, no puedo decir que toco son jarocho porque no. O sea, le hago al loco. Me gusta mucho tocarla de repente a jugar con cosas y por qué no hasta canto bien las rancheras, como luego dicen.
Eso.
Se tocan bien con ese instrumento, hay que decirlo también. Y por qué no de repente también la brujita. Pero el instrumento, como lo tocas tú y como lo he visto tocar a otros jaraneros, otros músicos que tocan jarana, el instrumento es increíblemente amplio, diverso, rico. Se pueden hacer muchas cosas. Yo jamás había visto esa posibilidad hasta que empecé hace unos años a ver que el instrumento se presta a tocar. You can do so much with this instrument. You can adapt it to so many different things. You can sing different songs, not just son jarocho. And I came to find out a few years ago that, in fact, other musicians here and in Mexico and other parts are using it to do other music. And so that was really exciting. muéstranos entonces qué es posible con esta jarana. Tell us what is possible with this instrument.
Bueno, mira, lo primero que sucede es que te la pones y ya te pega, te toca en el corazón o en la pancita y ahí te va a llegar todo lo que dice.
So first you
pues se
put it
trata
close
de-
to your heart, to your belly, and that's where you're going to feel everything that this instrument says.
¿sí? Y lo que hay que afinar es pues decir uno a través del instrumento, ¿no? Aprender a hablar por ahí.
So you become, as in a sense, your instrument becomes your voice. So you learn how to sing with the instrument. Mhm.
Y seguimos aprendiendo. Entonces dice así.
Eso,
Oye,
fantástico.
perdón, ¿se escucha bien? De pronto
Sí,
se
no,
oye.
se está escuchando bien.
¿Se escucha bien?
Perfecto.
Ok.
Sí, sí, sí. Muy bien. Bueno, vamos a cerrar, yo creo. Primero quisiera yo mostrarles, si es posible, vamos a ver un video del trío, porque bueno, cada quien tiene su proyecto, debo de anotar. Everybody has their own project. So Vico has his own project or projects. Ik Balam has his project or projects. And then Pablo plays in different projects as well. So he also composes his own music. So I want to be able to see the video with the trio. Jaguar is I wanna share this video of Jaguar, where we trio led by Iqbalam, and we're going to be seeing this a little bit, maybe about 2 minutes or so you can see what this is all about, and how the three musicians are speaking in the same language in a sense. Let's see the video. Okay, there you have a sense of, and I'm sorry that there were some technical problems there while we were sharing the music. At least you got a chance to see, to hear the sound, more importantly, because that's really what matters here. Disculpen que vimos algunos problemas ahí técnicos, pero lo importante de esto es de que escucharan la música, de escucharan este contraste que hay entre los instrumentos, de qué manera la jarana lleva esa armonía y ayuda y apoya a ese requinto, a esa melodía, y desde luego el corazón de esta música es la leona, el bajo, ese pulsar de Vico Díaz en ese instrumento tan fantástico. Vamos a hablar un poco de cada uno, digamos, cada uno tiene su proyecto. Empecemos por Vico. Vico, you have your own project. You know, well, in a sense, you have a couple of different projects. Hay, digamos, dos proyectos de los que estás estado trabajando últimamente. El proyecto de la banda que se llama Toctli. He's had this project called Toctli for a while. And it's really sort of sometimes a quintet, sextet, septet, depending on how many musicians can play at any given time. Y últimamente ha estado grabando, bueno, de hecho, el grupo se presentó aquí en Los Ángeles hace 2 años, ¿verdad? Con un cuarteto, me parece que fue, ¿verdad? Trío, cuarteto.
Sí, cuarteto.
Un cuarteto. Así que en los últimos meses ha estado trabajando, ahora sí que en la cuarentena, trabajó en un proyecto muy particular que un disco importantísimo de son jarocho del maestro Isidro Nieves, del requinto jarocho. He brought a recording of this musician, Isidro Nieves, who plays the requinto, and he brought it into a completely different setting, combining 3 different forces, 3 different sounds. First of all, the requinto was sort of the melodic, the sort of, you know, heart of it all. Then he added the drums of Eric Harlan, who's one of the great bass players in the US and the world. Great drummer who's played with so many different musicians over the years. And then, of course, he added the bass, the Leona, and he mixed it all up into one unit, and it turned into this project called Rendezvous, which is a perfect title for this because it's really a meeting, a gathering of musicians. Este proyecto se me hizo muy fuerte porque entonces ya nos dimos cuenta, ¿verdad?, que la música finalmente viene del mismo lugar y que hay unas afinidades que quizás mucha gente antes no las había imaginado. Brevemente, Vico, porque no tenemos mucho tiempo, ahora sí que brevemente, cuéntanos de este proyecto. ¿Cómo se te ocurrió?
Sí, nace como platicaba hace un momento, de cómo aprendí, o no aprendí, sino me adentré al vocabulario y al lenguaje mexicano.
So he decided to, go deep into the vocabulary of Mexican music. Uh-huh.
Y lo escuché y tocando con él, me di cuenta que la batería, por mi manera de como yo tocaba la leona, muy contrabajístico, haciendo líneas de bajo, de walking bass, vi que podía funcionar una batería con nosotros dos.
So he realized that he could add, in addition to the requinto playing of Isidro Nieves, he thought that he could also add a drum kit along him and Isidro Nieves.
Y yo he tocado, como cuando lo hice con Don Isidro, he estudiado con Eric Harlan por años, escuchando su música. Siento que tengo una compatibilidad a su manera de tocar, a su time feel.
And he's followed the career of Eric Harlan, and he felt that, he's always had this compatibility with him, that he was able to sort of meet him halfway and understand each other. Uh-huh.
So I put them together in a musical program, which is GarageBand, traditional home studio, no? And I'm set the requinto of Don Isidro with no cut at all, just the full track of Don Isidro, and then start putting the loops of Eric Harlan, because I bought a library of his drumming. So the loops are 10 seconds long. So I need to put like 20, 30, 40, 16 loops to complement to finish the whole tune along the requinto. And finally I just add the bass of the requinto and the drums, like you say, and they match very well. The traditions of music, of ancient music, is all there, but the Mexican music has an extra add that don't have the Afro music, of Afro jazz music, which is the Indian. This particular Indian kind of type and make our jazz different than just Afro. So I love the sort of the experimentation of this, how the indigenous folk, Spain and Afro, put into in a match very well with the Afro culture of the United States.
Yeah. Y así resultó. That's how it turned out. And then you chose 7 tunes or something, like 8 tunes?
Yeah, 6 tunes are in the album. I didn't expect that the result has that flow, that swing, that burning, that interplay, that the first Chuck was me.
Unfortunately, we wanted to share that music during this conversation, but we can't because of some issues with the connection. But here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna tell you to go to, it's on YouTube. You can find it on Spotify as well. Look for, well, you tell them, Vico, how to find it.
You can just Google me, Vico Diaz, in the Google, and just after Google my name, there my 5 albums comes to the top of the list, and you can decide
which one.
Which one.
Yeah. But in this case, we're talking specifically about the album called Rendezvous, which is French for meeting or getting together.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what it is. It's a rendezvous between a jarocho musician from, no me acuerdo de dónde es, de Isidro Nieves, de dónde es.
The south, the sur.
Del sur de Veracruz.
Juan Evangelista.
San
Juan Evangelista.
Un pueblo pequeño en el sur de Veracruz. Eric Harlan, que bueno, creo yo que vive en Nueva York, donde viven la mayoría de los grandes jazzistas, ¿no? En Estados Unidos.
Sí.
Y Vico Díaz en la Ciudad de México. Eso es un triángulo ahí muy particular que unen a estos 3 músicos en una sonoridad muy, muy especial a través de esta creación de Vico Díaz, que se le ocurrió esto, y yo creo que solamente se lo pudo haber ocurrido durante la cuarentena, porque era el momento de la creatividad, de hacer algo diferente en estos tiempos que estamos encerrados.
Así es.
Muy bien. Miren, tenemos apenas 10 minutos para cerrar, y en esos 10 minutos voy a pedirles que toquen algo ya como para terminar la plática. I'm going to ask you to play something live now in the last less than 10 minutes. Tenemos más o menos unos 6 minutos porque tengo que dar los agradecimientos y demás. Entonces, quisiera yo que hicieran una especie de mini concierto en lo último que queda del programa. Y ya saben qué hacer ustedes porque no pueden tocar al mismo tiempo. El trío va a tocar una pieza o 2 piezas y bueno, van a hacerlo a manera de un hilo, ¿no? O de una especie de escalón o de cadena, como quieran llamarle. They're going to do sort of a thread, playing, you know, a minute or 2 each, and then one finishes, then the next one starts, and so on, and they're going to go in a sort of loop around it. Empecemos entonces. Ustedes dicen. No escuchamos la jarana. Pablo. Pablo. Ah, ya. Bien. Esto. Muy bien. ¿Eso qué fue? ¿Cómo se llamó? Vico, Igbalam, cuéntanos qué es lo que tocaron.
Estamos tocando el cascabel en un arreglo, digamos, para tocar en una estructura, como en el jazz, que existen los estándares y ciertas formas de composición. Este es un arreglo que le hice al cascabel en un arreglo de 32 compases, como un, digamos, All the Things You Are, o ese estándar es de 32 compases la forma, y cambiábamos de tono en la parte de la B, hacíamos medio tono adelante, y luego en la parte final de la A volvíamos al tono original. Entonces es para poder tocar no solamente el son abierto en los dos acordes que son, sino tocar en una estructura e improvisar sobre esa forma, intelectualizar un poco más el son en cuanto a la estructura.
Very interesting. I don't know if you caught what he said. This is an arrangement that Vico did of El Cascabel, but typically the son jarocho tradition is 2 chords. That's it. It's a minor chord, right? Played in a minor chord, but it's only 2 chords. that's the traditional way of playing el cascabel. But in this case, he adapted it to 32 beats, you said? Compases?
32 bars.
32 bars. And just like any other, like a standard, for example, All the Things You Are, or any other American jazz standard that people are familiar with, complicating it, expanding it, amplifying it, and creating a much more complex harmonic structure for this piece, which was traditionally just 2 chords. Wow.
Yeah.
No, escuchaba yo por ahí de repente la melodía, pero dije yo, increíble, ¿no? Porque esto se fue a otro lugar, se fue a otra parte. Eso sí me llamó mucho la atención. Y bueno, estamos llegando al final de este programa. No sé qué pasó con Ick, parece que desapareció. We are about to, I'm hearing a feedback, Abelardo. We're about to close this program, and I want to thank these fantastic musicians, Vico Diaz on the Leona, Ick Balam on the requinto jarocho, the electric requinto jarocho, and Pablo Emiliano on the jarana. I want to thank you so much for showing us the amazing quality and diversity and richness that this music has, that you're creating, in a sense, as I said before at the beginning of the program, a completely new sound, expanding the language, if you will, of son, and as I called it, son de la nueva generación, son of the new generation of musicians. And I think I want to leave it at that. Thank you very much. Ick Balam, Pablo Emiliano, Vico Diaz, and I'm going to throw it back now to Abelardo de la Peña.
Well, thank you very much. Muchas gracias a todos. It was incredible. Ick Balam, Pablo, Vico, and Beto for bringing it all together. Gracias a todos. Perfección. What a great sound that you're putting out there with these traditional instruments in a new way. I love jazz. I love jarocho, son jarocho, and combined, it's a great combination. Thank you so much. Beto, if you could please tell us a little bit about your other virtual activities.
Well, I do a regular program every Wednesday. People can find me on Facebook Live, on my Facebook page, simply Beto Arcos with 2 T's, Beto. I'm doing a program every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Los Angeles time. Every Wednesday for the last 3 months, I've been doing interviews with musicians from all the way to Argentina, Colombia, to Spain, music journalists, of course, Los Angeles, and of course, Mexico. Series of different programs talking about different musics from different parts of the continent. Everything focused on Latin American music. Yeah, and then I have a monthly show also on Facebook with the Smithsonian Folklife Festival. Every Wednesday, I think it's every second Wednesday. You can just go to the Smithsonian Folklife Facebook page and find us there. I have one coming up with singer Susana Vaca from Peru and Nidia Góngora from Colombia. That's going to happen I think it's going to be on the 16th of August. So I have that and more coming up in other places as well, but this is sort of my regular gig now.
Well, thank you very much, and I hope to bring you on again here at En Casa con la Plaza. You were here about a month and a little bit ago with a great musician, Son Jarocho, and it was marvelous. So if you didn't catch this whole session, you could come back to our Facebook page at La Plaza LA. We'll have it on streaming here. We'll be streaming it on YouTube as well at La Plaza LA, and also on our website at La Plaza LA. You can catch other of our 30 plus so far En Casa sessions on our pages, on our website. I'm going to go ahead and put the link on our Facebook page, on our chat, so you could see where you could find us. Please come back. Thank you to our sponsors, SoCal Gas, very generous in funding these programs. Also, funding has been provided by the California Humanities and the National Endowment for the Humanities as part of the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security's CARES Act of 2020. We're in difficult times, but I believe that the arts, music, make it worthwhile, make it bearable, and help us to grow. Also, the help of you out there to become members of La Plaza. Please do. I'm putting out the link here so that you could consider becoming a member. We will be opening soon, we hope. And but in the meantime, you'll know about all our other programs. We'll be bringing other virtual programs to you besides En Casa con La Plaza. On Sunday, for instance, we have Dan Guerrero with special guest Vicky Carr and a special birthday salute. Monday, caldo de nopales en español. This is a cooking demonstration. We have it every Monday. Cada lunes, cocinamos juntos con unos chefs de aquí de Los Ángeles. Y después, en next Friday, a little change of pace in la música. We usually try to have some music on Friday. West Coast Chicano Soul with internet DJ Frankie Firme. So, just to wrap it up, in accordance with the latest order issued by the LA County Department of Health, La Plaza will remain closed until further notice. We will continue to expand our menu of virtual programming with details to be announced soon. In the meantime, we urge you to follow the latest guidelines issued by the county to assure the health and safety of our friends, colleagues, and families. The sooner we could bring down the curve, the sooner we can reopen and restart on-site visits. And we look forward to seeing you all soon. A todos, nos vemos en Casa con La Plaza. Muchas gracias otra vez. Beto, Iqbalam, Pablo y Vico. Hasta la próxima. Saludos a todos.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Buenas noches.
Buenas.